Core i3. Core i3 is Intel's low-tier processor that's built for basic computing and light multitasking. It usually comes with 4 to 6 cores, which is good enough for browsing the internet, watching videos, or working on several documents at once. You could even play some light games. If you try to run heavy work like rendering or modern Apple games, it's possible, but you'll get lagging and stuttering. That's actually what makes this processor cheap and a good entry-level CPU for a budget computer. Another important thing to understand is that if you look at the end of the CPU name, you'll sometimes see a letter or suffix. That suffix shows what kind of performance or feature the CPU has. For example, laptop variants of the i3 usually come with the U suffix. This means the CPU prioritizes limiting its power, so the laptop generates less heat and has longer battery life. This is useful for office workers or students because they don't have to keep recharging their laptop. It can last through an entire day. On desktops, Intel Core processors usually come with integrated graphics, but some versions also have the F suffix, which means those don't have integrated graphics at all, so you need a graphics card in your PC. The good thing is these F models are usually a bit cheaper, so if you already have a spare graphics card, they're a good option for a budget build. There's also the T version, made for low-power desktops, which is ideal for compact PCs or office setups because it uses less electricity and runs cooler.
Core i5. Intel Core i5 is the mid-tier processor and also one of the most used CPUs by a lot of people. That's because it's still cheap, but also more powerful than Intel Core i3. i5 processors come with 6 or even 14 cores, which makes them good enough for doing photo or video editing, programming, and, of course, gaming as well. But just a side note, a higher CPU tier doesn't always mean it's a lot faster and stronger if it's from an older generation. For example, if we compare Intel Core i3 with Intel Core i5 in the same generation, of course the i5 is definitely stronger. However, if we compare a newer generation of Intel Core i3 against an older generation of Core i5, they're actually pretty much equal because even though the Core i3 is a lower tier compared to the Core i5, its speed and efficiency will improve a lot if it's from a newer generation. Oh yeah, talking about gaming, sometimes people also compare Intel Core i5 with Ryzen 5 because in general Intel has slightly better performance due to its higher clock speeds and strong single-core performance. In terms of suffix, i5 processors in laptops still come with the U suffix, but now they have the HS suffix as well. This HS suffix means the processor is aimed at gaming laptops because it offers higher performance, but it will consume more energy. On desktops, some i5 models include the K suffix, which means the chip has the overclocking feature. So if you want to overclock the processor, it can run faster than its normal speed, but it needs higher wattage consumption and produces more heat. If you plan to use this feature, you'll need a better cooling system like liquid cooling because regular cooling fans usually aren't enough to keep it cool. Core i7. Intel Core i7 is a high-performance processor for people like content creators who need to run heavy programs and multitask at the same time. So if you can play a game on high settings with Core i5, with Core i7 you can play your game at high settings while recording your gameplay with OBS Studio, opening Discord, and opening a lot of Chrome tabs without lagging. It's all possible because Core i7 has more cores, usually around 8 to 20 cores. In terms of suffix, i7 in laptops usually comes with the HX suffix. The HX is basically like the HS, but HX gives you a lot higher performance. It usually comes in some thick high-end gaming laptops because it requires larger cooling systems to cool off the heat. As for desktops, there is also a variant called KF. It simply means the processor has the overclocking feature, but it doesn't have integrated graphics, which makes it cheaper compared to the one with the K variant. But just to let you know, people these days prefer AMD instead of Intel, especially for the high-end tier like Core i7 and Ryzen 7. Because while Intel CPUs still perform well, Ryzen processors generally have cooler temperatures at similar or lower prices and offer better performance. Core i9. Intel Core i9 is Intel's flagship processor that's built for professionals and tech enthusiasts. It has 16 to 24 cores, which makes it very powerful for heavy workloads, like studio-level 3D modeling, reaching ultra-graphics settings in heavy AAA games, and 4K video editing. About the suffix, it's just the same as Core i7. What makes it different is that Core i9 is just more powerful in terms of performance. However, if we're talking about performance in gaming, more people these days don't even want to choose Core i9. They pick Ryzen 9 instead. Actually, Core i9 is still great, but Ryzen CPUs have the suffix called X3D, which is AMD's processor that has 3D V-cache technology to boost your performance in video games by a lot without having to consume more wattage. Despite all these pros and cons of the Intel Core i9, most people don't really need a CPU this powerful anyway because only people like tech enthusiasts or professionals really need this kind of CPU. Core Ultra. Intel Core Ultra is the newer generation of the Core series, found in high-end laptops like Asus ROG and Lenovo Legion. What makes Core Ultra different is a built-in NPU inside the processor. An NPU handles AI-related tasks, so instead of burdening the CPU, which makes it hotter and consumes more power, those tasks are processed by the NPU, helping the laptop run cooler. Real-life examples include automatic background blur in Windows Studio Effects and AI generative fill features in editing software like DaVinci Resolve and Photoshop. Despite these AI features, most people don't need Core Ultra. It's more suitable for professional editors, designers, or heavy workloads. Intel vPro. Intel vPro is a special variant of the Core series for business. You'll often see vPro versions of Core i5, i7, or i9 in office or enterprise laptops. vPro includes Intel Active Management Technology, AMT, and Total Memory Encryption. AMT is a remote management feature where IT admins can update, control, or lock many computers remotely. Total Memory Encryption protects login credentials, encryption keys, and other text-based files stored in memory by scrambling them so stolen data is unreadable. Intel Atom. Intel Atom is an ultra-low power processor for small portable devices. You'll mostly find them in point-of-sale machines, digital kiosks in malls or airports, and embedded devices like security cameras. Atom CPUs use very little electricity compared to laptop and desktop processors and barely generate heat, so they often don't need fans or large cooling systems. Intel Celeron. Intel Celeron was Intel's weakest processor series, made for very basic tasks like typing documents. It was used in cheap laptops and office PCs in the early 2000s. Intel officially discontinued Celeron in 2023 since it was largely unused. In CPU benchmark rankings of 273 Intel processors, Celeron sits at the bottom. It was originally a normal chip with defects, so Intel disabled the defective parts and sold it as Celeron. That's why one browser tab is fine, but open two, and the system can start to lag. Intel Pentium. Intel Pentium was similar to Celeron. Both were weaker series discontinued in 2023, but Pentium was slightly stronger and more expensive. You could open more tabs or run simple Office apps more smoothly on Pentium, and it could even handle simple games like chess or classic Doom. Intel Xeon. Intel Xeon is not made for regular PCs, but for powerful workstations and servers handling heavy-duty tasks like large-scale simulations, data centers, and cloud computing. Xeon can run non-stop because it has many cores, 32, 64, even 120, and supports multi-CPU setups, so a motherboard can use 2 or more Xeon processors together. Xeon dominated the professional workstation market for years, but Ryzen Threadripper from AMD has challenged that lead by offering higher core counts and better price to performance.